If you don't understand how government works or the Constitution or just general concepts, then you can't participate in a democracy. The civics lesson is the beginning of any democracy. You have to be informed as a citizen. But I think as an educator, you have to check the bias at the front door. Our goal as a teacher is we have to come in and we have to give the basic understanding of what's going on and look at multiple perspectives, and that's what critical thinking is about. And then from there, they can go and talk to their families about it. But you're not doing some sort of political messaging.
It's not a discussion on what you believe. It's just a discussion of the facts. And so when you take your personal feelings out of it and your personal opinions on it, you're able to see both sides of the issue.
It's a class, right? So we're looking at it more from like a textbook point of view and understanding really what is happening instead of how we feel about what's happening. The thing about Hutchison is that we're being taught to understand facts and to kind of build our own opinions off of that. And I think that the nice thing about having civics and government classes is that you're given a safe space to kind of understand what's happening without feeling judged for your opinions, without feeling pressured to think a certain way, so that you then have space to kind of understand that on your own.
In class, whenever we're talking about partisan issues, we tend to, as closely as we can, focus on how it relates to the curriculum, like the terms, the vocabulary, how we can apply that vocabulary to the situations rather than, what the politicians are saying and stuff like that.
I work a lot with critical thinking on reasoning, and the lesson I did today is like dealing with reasoning and dealing with evidence that you can support it with, other than just an opinion that I picked up somewhere off one of the various social media sites, and you have no foundation of what you're talking about. And that can be toxic, especially for young kids who aren't really ready for that yet.
Political polarization is the reality that we live in, but I think not highlighting that would be like an injustice to how you learn history. I think understanding how history works and the different sides and understanding the different perspectives allows everyone a better way to understand what's happening in the world, because if you don't learn about that multiple sides, then you're not really learning true history.
The way I look at it, my job is to kind of build a foundation for later grades. In 7th grade, you're learning how to read and analyze documents, you're learning how to detect bias, you're learning how to look at different sources and kind of analyze those sources and determine what's good information and what information should I be looking at and what information is true, and how can I determine what information is true and accurate and what's a good source.
Some of the things that I do to check my own biases, I think you have to be extremely thoughtful about your lesson. You have to be thoughtful about, okay, if a COVID-19 discussion comes up, what are you going to say about COVID-19? How do you have somebody who comes with it about something's going on in a conservative or a liberal state and how they're responding? You've got to find a way to sort of diffuse that and say, well, let's focus on the academic piece of it. Well, we did a lesson on federalism, and the lesson on federalism was hot topics of federalism, COVID-19, and others voting around the country, but you're not getting into the polarization of Republican versus Democrat. You're looking at how the system works between state and national government, and and you're looking at how blue responds to a red president and how red responds to a blue president, and that's just the process of reserve powers versus delegated powers in national government. So there's no reason to get political. And it's all about how the institution of government works.
We kind of approach government and history as a processes and outcomes kind of question rather than an emotional question. It's really nice to be able to kind of analyze things from a rational point of view and to promote understanding instead of emotional responses to what we're learning.
It's really fun and relaxing to get that education without it becoming such a heated conversation.
You have to teach in a way where you're reaching all the kids, not just a particular group of kids. I mean, this is the one thing about citizenship too that's important. It's not a citizenship for just one viewpoint or one half of the group that you're dealing with at any moment, any political time. So you have to find a way to be balanced. And if you turn somebody 40% or 50% off your class because you're preaching something, then you're going to lose those kids and you're not going to be an effective teacher.
Training younger generations to think like that, I think, is one of the best things that a school can do. Having us understand that there are multiple sides and that it doesn't mean that their side is wrong and our side is right.
Removing that aspect of like the personal opinions from it helps us, you know, be able to synthesize and analyze different issues and see why this party does this thing this way, or why this representative from this party said this on this issue and not that. The main idea of it is we're able to respect one another and know that we all have different opinions, we all have different values, what we believe, but when you come into the classroom, none of that matters. It's you're respecting the person and respecting what they have to say, and you might not agree, but that's okay.